As I have promised before, today you'll enjoy the competitive test between Mazda CX-9 and Toyota Highlander. Now some words about their design. It's absolutely evident that Mazda focuses on elegance, laconism and sophistication, while Toyota shows practicality, functionality and some kind of brutalism. It's notable that Toyota wants to dominate, and Mazda CX-9 is willing to look pretty. Recently we have done full Mazda CX-9 test drive, and all the details you can get there. Today we have competitive test drive. That's why it's worth to concentrate on the differences between Mazda CX-9 and Highlander. Let's start from the driver's seat. Japanese call it Jimba Itai, the unity of a horse and a rider, which means that it will be comfortable for you here while you'll feel yourself like being inside the fighter aircraft plane cockpit. The instrument panel is usual, 2 analog indicators and 1 trip computer with good graphics. I think that this graphics is better than Toyota proposes, at least more modern. In both vehicles we have start button and they are situated in the proper place. Concerning seats heater, besides it, Toyota also owns a ventilation option, which Mazda CX-9 doesn't have. If you look at seats and steering wheel heating buttons, I guess you'll agree that they are situated more logically inside Mazda rather than inside Toyota. Inside Mazda CX-9, plenty of drivers might think that there is not enough flail space. Seems like it's a smart flat comparing to a roomy studio apartment of Toyota Highlander. It's obvious that Toyota is wider and owns more flail space for all participants, a driver, front and rear passengers. Of course, the convenience is made of details at which you don't pay attention from the first sight. As for me, I do like this knob button or manipulator for controlling the volume or switching off the sound immediately. Toyota doesn't give this possibility. When comparing vehicles' design, it's clear that Mazda aims for symmetry and Toyota is recognizable for its famous non-symmetry, but not that much as Toyota CHR. Here it's 50-50. Coming back to materials quality. In my opinion, CX-9 wins as for European better quality plastics is proposed, while American are happy with the simplest version inside Highlander. Just a few European can be satisfied with such a low-quality plastics. One more detail, an electrical parking brake inside Toyota. Instead of this nice button, a real surprise is waiting for us. Now let's count the cup holders. 2 on the central console and that's it. How many does Toyota own? Inside the armrest there are 2 USB connectors. Good news for an ordinary consumer. Seats, good quality leather, perforated inserts, but again, there is no ventilation option here, while Toyota has it. So, what are benefits of Mazda CX-9 except the electrical parking brake? Yes, the active driving display. It's complete and very cool and shows not only the speed but also traffic signs recognition, and if I remember everything correctly, also duplicates the navigation system, and that's really useful. As you already understand, there is no active driving display inside Toyota. There is no need to test again the second and third row of seats of Mazda CX-9, as we have already done it before. So if you don't mind, we'll use this video cut from our Mazda CX-9 full test drive. I'm sure it will be interesting for you. Also, we'll examine the trunk. Pay attention on the rear door length. When I saw it, I immediately thought that there was enough flail space for rear passenger. Power boot. Press one button and it's opening. Welcome to the new CX-9 trunk. Wait, no need to be disappointed right now when you see 230 liters trunk volume, as there is third row of seats here, and it means that when we fold down this row, we get 840 liters of trunk volume. If also fold down the second row, then it increases up to 1,840 liters. Close the trunk button also exists. Usually the third row in vehicles is a tragedy or a comedy, or both of them at the same time. And now be ready for a blockbuster. Gulliver is visiting Lilliputians, as alongside interesting travel abroad, dinners at expensive restaurants, and relax in fashionable hotels, being an auto journalist is full of risks. For example, to be squeezed inside the car and no one will help you. But we don't have other choices, so let's do it. So, well, I'm here on the third row of seats. Even if I pull up the seat maximum, my knees are still free. And still my pose is not like an embryo has. The biggest problem is a head space. But wait, do you think that somebody will really put 100 kilograms passengers at the third row of seats of CX-9? This is a place for kids. It's their kingdom with cup holders inside the armrest. The second row of seats is higher than the first one. It's a concert sitting arrangement. That's why you can see everything what is going on ahead. Everything is visible from here. By the way, seats can be pulled front and back. The backrest is also adjustable for you to feel comfortable. Here is the armrest, the cup holder, compartment for some small stuff, and moreover, two USB connectors. If you look here, between two front seats, then you'll see a separate set of climate control, and at the second row seats you'll see the climate control buttons. Also, the rear seats are heated. Besides, you already have mentioned that seats are done of leather and it's perforated. I like it. We did our best to display a Mazda CX-9, but it's not that easy, and it's not fully displayed as it's 5 meters long. I would like to get off the ground the wheel on the diagonal hanging. But it turned out that a suspension is a long stroke. Nevertheless, the car body is loaded, and now we'll check if doors and the boot can be opened easily. On the left side, everything is okay. What's about the boot? Due to the vehicle class, the boot of Mazda CX-9 is powered. And as you can see, it's not opening that perfectly, but at least it did. Now let's try to close it. Press the button. Hope everything will be okay. Normal spacing and any misalignment. By the way, if you look at the rear wheel, you'll see that our diagonal display works. This much everything is unloaded here. A shock absorber and a part of the suspension are visible, and here the wheel arch is almost laying on the wheel. But in spite of it, door opens and closes. The front door behaves the same. Car body exam is passed. Now Toyota. It's also long, but looks better in a display. Yes, 1 centimeter we have. Let's test the doors. No remarks to the passenger side. I'm curious if the boot will surprise us. It's worth to mention that the boot lid of Highlander is very utility. For example, it can be opened in different ways. From above, just take aside the glass part. There is no need to open the whole door for reaching the half or a full trunk space. Of course, the boot is also powered, and let's use this option. How shall we do it? I think this way. Yes, the door opens with a light switch sound, the same as it was inside Mazda. And just ignore this large black package, it's for stiffs. Now let's close it. I have some suspicions as the boot lid is warped. Okay, let's try one more time. The electric drive whispers that it's shy to close the boot lid in such a position, as is afraid of damaging the lamp. What about me? I am not afraid of anything, and it's test vehicle, and we are interested in a fairness, not just in a lamp. Come on, don't resist. Go on, go on, go on, you can do it. Ta-da! It's closed. So, just a few millimeters save us from a disaster. But you can also close the boot manually. Some of you might think that's a fail as electric drive gave up on closing the door. But one more time, you always can do it yourself by hand. Now let's examine the door. The rear door is okay. The front is the same. The main argument for Mazda CX-9 is the right comfort, perfect sound insulation and perfect drivability on good quality pavement and nice engine, which works like an atmospheric. There is no turbo lag, and every moment of engine work you get enough torsion torque and horsepower. Trust me, it's 2.5-liter engine, but feels like Highlander's 3.5. But I think that Mazda CX-9 is faster than Highlander, and we'll check it a little bit later. Concerning Mazda CX-9 suspension disadvantages, it can be some kind of acoustic discomfort when you meet potholes on your way, and in this occasion I would prefer the suspension of Highlander. When I say a perfect sound insulation, I mean the absence not only external sounds, but also internal. There is almost any engine and any arch sounds. The glass is prevented very good. Furthermore, there is any annoying sound inside. In Highlander, everything is otherwise. Toyota does not follow Jimba Itai philosophy. Any horse and a rider unity. The main is drivers and passengers unity with comfortable seats. Also a lot of flail space for a driver, and it's done in a proper way. If you look at the instrument panel, you'll see the analog tachometer and speed indicator, and a trip computer in the middle. The computer graphics here is also good, but I think that it's less attractive than Mazda owns. For example, if comparing the size, well, it's not that easy to compare round things to square cuts. We already have talked about Mazda's symmetrical interior, while Toyota has square-type design, gently slipping in into the asymmetry. However, it's not annoying me, neither these big buttons. Because it's comfortable to press on them not only for a weak eyesight, but also if you have big hands. Like me and Freddy Krueger does. I'm not always good with such tiny small buttons. I prefer them to be bigger and more massive for stressing one more time that my car is a reliable and respectable one. As I have mentioned before, I do like this sound control knob button. Toyota also owns it, and it's very good, as it's a must. Besides, touch buttons are here, and they function well. What else I like here is this long shelf under the dashboard. A good place for your cell phone. Concerning the location of buttons, it's less logical than inside Mazda. For instance, here are the seats heater and ventilation buttons, and the steering wheel heater button is situated on the left side of the steering wheel. What's good? That the windscreen can be heated up. Not all of it, only the bottom part, where the cleaning wipes are. But it's not a problem, and it's really valuable options for a cold season. Memory seat adjustment and big, even huge glove box or an armrest, as it's very comfortable to put your arm here. I can even open it. And what do we have here? Here I'd say a whole one-room flat. We have incredibly large space, a 12-volt connector and a bunch of holders. Leather trim perforated seats with a ventilation, that's great. It happens very often that seat trim is perforated, but there is no ventilation as it's supposed to be. Big color touchscreen display, a navigation system, you can connect your cell phone, everything works here. A climate control is not annoying, it's 3-zoned. Now some words about materials quality. A lot of leather, nice and touched plastics, but all of this isn't that good like inside Mazda CX-9. Everything looks more delicate and elegant, meanwhile more practicable and rational. Well, just more practicable. To be honest, I'm not afraid of kids pouring out milk, or even of myself doing the same with late, and I think it won't be a problem to clean everything with a simple bottle of water and a sponge. Leather trim, multifunctional steering wheel, everything is done for your comfort. For a long time, Japanese have been understanding the wants and needs of customers, especially of their customers. Toyota Highlander is a perfect example of Toyota car construction. Now let's check the braking. Mazda has 20-inch rims. Braking at the speed of 60 km per hour, the first trial 12 meters. Not bad. The second trial 12 meters. This is a stability. You'll be surprised, but for the third time we have the same result, 12 meters. This time no need for a calculator to get the average result. It's 12 meters. It's time for Toyota, it has 19-inch rims. It's worth to mention that after the winter season, tires are not in perfect condition. But as Japanese say, you rarely choose a place and a time for a fight. In spite of tires' condition, the first result is good chance for winning, 10 meters, 40 centimeters. The second one, 11.5, and the third, 11.6. This means that the average result of Highlander is 11 meters, 16 centimeters, and yes, this time Highlander is a winner. With Toyota Highlander you won't get such a good sound insulation and smooth ride like Mazda presents, even if it's equipped with 3.5 gasoline engine and 8-speed automatic transmission gearbox, but all of this without proper settings. Coming back to sound insulation, external noise appears here in a softer way, but inside the car something is squeaking and rubbing time to time. I can understand it as we have a big passenger compartment with a great deal of details. Nevertheless, it's quiet inside Mazda. 3.5 liters engine with many technologies inside. That's why a promised fuel consumption is 12 liters in the city and 9.5 liters on a highway. For several days driving in the city, my result was also 12 liters. Concerning dynamics, 8.7 seconds is a real record with such aerodynamics, dimension and weight. And now we'll test 0 to 100 acceleration of Toyota Highlander and Mazda CX-9. Mazda engineers are very happy of their creation eliminating the turbo lag. How? To reduce lag, Mazda's engine gets its air via two paths. At low speeds, a valve closes the larger one and sends the air to the turbine through a narrower path. This increases the pressure in the same way happens when you squeeze the tip of the garden hose to push the water out of a higher pressure. Mazda works the same without garden hoses, but with the exhaust gas instead. Putting the technical characteristic aside, Mazda engine feels like 100 atmospheric, 3-liter and 6-cylinder, but in reality it's 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. For real, at a low speed, any lags are notable. The engine is efficient within all power range, but 6-speed automatic transmission is not the best choice for a competition. Nevertheless, it has proper settings and works good. Still, for fuel consumption economy, I would prefer 8-speed automatic transmission. The new Highlander owns classical Toyota engine, V-type 6-cylinder atmospheric 3.5 liters, and engineers mention the following innovations. D4S combined injection system unites fuel injection into intake ports and directly into cylinders. New VVT4 variable valve timing electronic system with a wide range for intakes, ports and VVT-TI variable valve timing for emission, which allow the engine to operate in Otto or Atkinson cycle due to the load. As a result, Highlander with such a big engine is able to demonstrate 12.5 liters fuel consumption. This is possible due to a part-time AWD, not all-time, and added to the engine 8-speed gearbox. How fast are engines of these big and I hope powerful SUVs? We'll check right now. As we know, 2.5-liter 4-cylinder Mazda engine gives 231 horsepower and 420 newtons of torque. Due to passport data, 0 to 100 acceleration time is 8.6 seconds. Not a jet fighter, but still good result. But do you know what? Japanese are misinforming us. The best result of Mazda is 8 seconds. And it's awesome when producer not only guarantees the characteristics on paper, but does it with a reserve. Highlander engine power 249 horsepower, 337 newtons of torque. On paper 0 to 100 acceleration in 8.7 seconds, and here we also have good news. In reality, Highlander reached 100 km per hour in 8.5 seconds. Nevertheless, it's slower than Mazda CX-9. How it happens that Highlander looks more economically variable today? Firstly, because of its 8-speed transmission gearbox. Secondly, the all-wheel drive doesn't work all the time. It activates only when the front wheels lose the traction and start to slip. Absolutely all of this has an impact on the fuel consumption economy. High-energy suspension, higher than Mazda owns, less acoustic discomfort, and this car goes more confident off-road, even its ground clearance is 2 cm less than Mazda has. Here it's 20 cm high, there 22 cm. So if compare clearance, Mazda CX-9 wins. In spite of roles, Toyota Highlander looks very simple and controllable vehicle. Yes, it will take some time to get used to it, as at the beginning you might think that car is going to bowl over. In reality, Highlander passes the corners excitably and the same reliable like Mazda CX-9 does. What is left is to choose winner in a slalom test. And I don't think that Highlander will slow itself like a full outsider. Slalom trial is a real challenge for such high-clearance cars. By feel, Mazda rolls less and keeps the path of motion better, while Highlander rolls a lot, but extremely accurate, informs about situation each second. Meanwhile, on camera, everything looks quite opposite. Nevertheless, Mazda crosses the finish line in 11.7 seconds, Toyota in 12.4. Mazda shows better results. Toyota Highlander boot lid is very functional. Just press one button, put away the glass and receive the access to boot volume immediately. But keep in mind, always inform car washers to clean up all around this glass, as some dust will reach this place for sure. Coming back to boot lid functionality, it's powered. One more time press a button and it opens. Again, like in case with Mazda, don't panic when you see 269 liters trunk volume, as here we also have the third row of seats, which can be folded down very easily. And all 813 liters of boot space are yours. If fold down the second row of seats, you'll get 1,872 liters in total, and that's a lot. Well, now it's time for Toyota Highlander to demonstrate how easy is it to reach the third row of seats. Press the lever, move away the second row, and here. Now would be good to put the third row back, but still to be comfortable. Even few centimeters are left for my knees. Nevertheless, I have an embryo pose, as I don't have enough headspace. But wait! We can fold back the backrest. Hope this will help. Here we have it, done! Well, now it's easier to experience the claustrophobia. But one more time, the third row of seats is not created for tall and heavy people. This is a place for kids. On the right side there are 2 cup holders, on the left side also 2 cup holders. At least this kind of entertainment. Inside Toyota Highlander, the second row seats arrangement is not a concert type like inside Mazda. This means that everything is plain here. A lot of flail space, but I'm sure that some of you might argue back. We see the same space like inside Mazda until I move the seats this way. Here we have window curtain. Let's check how it works. Very easy. I like these curtains. It's more cozy inside. What else? An armrest and 2 cup holders. Perforated leather trim, seat heater, 3 zones climate control. This means that the second row passengers have a possibility to set up their own comfortable temperature, at least engineers say that. I don't really believe it that much, but I like that there is such an option. Now let's check if I can put back the rear seat's backrest. Moreover, the backrest are adjustable here. I'm like in business class or economy plus, at least inside good, modern plane. There are valuable benefits of Highlander. Toyota's engineers say that Highlander has AWD with the intelligence splitting the torque between driving axles and a possibility of immediate locking in proportion 50-50 through the magnetic clutch of rear differential. It's a very flexible system which helps to save fuel and not to be caught in the snow at the same time. But that's a theory. In real life, Highlander faces difficulties with diagonally unblocked wheels, and these difficulties are insuperable. We even wanted to stop the trial. Seems like in such conditions, even with locked AWD, it's hard for a system to understand how to split the torque more efficient, and for real, during one of the attempts, with 3 rolls, Highlander got out of scrape. When checking the AWD of Mazda CX-9, despite 22 cm clearance, we knew that this car is good for light off-road conditions. Its geometrical dimension, maneuvering angles and elegant look are suitable for a snowy city or snowy highway most. So CX-9 passed the basic trial confidently, diagonally and one side unblocked wheels honorably. 3 rolls Mazda also overcame. This time it was a need to use the brake pedal and make electronics split the torque to the proper wheel. But we couldn't pass the hardest trial. Moreover, the clutch was overheated, as a car informed us. I think this double test drive of Mazda CX-9 and Toyota Highlander is significant, as for the first time in years we don't compare Japanese twins. Yes, they have the same concept, big, respectful and maybe family SUV. But these vehicles are totally different. That's why you'll easily choose yours.
свой любимый автомобиль из этого сравнительного теста.